How many times have you watched the local TV news announce a spectacular story, but make you wait until the end of the newscast to hear it? Maybe your dinner is getting cold, or you hold off pooping, or maybe you are waiting to change the baby's diaper. Only 30 minutes later, after suffering through endless sports updates, weather predictions, and stupid commercials, do you learn it's a trivial story with a misleading headline. Newspapers are almost as bad. They put teasers on the front page and you have to flip through page after page of boring stories and advertising to discover that you've been tricked into reading some mundane and silly story. Just who do these scoundrels think they are? It's about time somebody shoved their crummy stories up their wazoo where the sun doesn't shine. But since we can't do that, the next best thing is to outdo them with our own tricky headlines. Let's see them top these. Anthropologist discovers missing link. Istanbul, Turkey. An absent-minded anthropologist named Diddley Squat was highly distraught over losing his good luck cuff link. After shoveling sand for 20 days, he finally found it in his pocket. What a loser. Hockey player wins final game in a wheelchair. Springfield, Illinois. An accident-prone hockey player finally won a game by letting a competent player replace him. Hey, ineptitude just happens to be my style, okay, he blabbered. But because I sat this one out in a wheelchair, I sort of won the game for the team, did I not? Cannibals flee man-eating vegetable. Somewhere in the jungles of Borneo. A newly discovered tribe of cannibals were almost frightened out of their skins when an explorer entered their village eating asparagus. Of course, this is pure speculation, since the explorer, who dearly loved to munch on asparagus, was never seen again. California hippie arrested and put in cage. San Diego, California. Hippie, the baby hippopotamus, was caught and put back in his cage after escaping yesterday. According to zoo officials, he panicked after hearing the song, Hotel California. Giant ant buries body in cemetery. Mexico City, Mexico. Entomologists have discovered the largest known species of ant in a cemetery. The astonished science team, who named the new species, Mexicus siesticus, said the ant developed a most interesting survival technique of burying its own body in the sand to escape the midday heat. Driving instructor crashes after student hands him the wheel. Kalamazoo, Michigan. A student learning to drive handed over the wheel to his instructor after completing his lesson. The instructor was bone-tired from a day's work and went home to crash in his bed for a good night's sleep. Grouchy cat collars owner. Danbury, Connecticut. A total wimp had to be rescued by animal control after his grouchy tomcat snarled and backed him into a corner to prove who's the boss. Women and cats do as they please, he told animal control officers, and men and dogs should just get used to it. Brilliant U.S. spy discovers his shadow. Washington, D.C. America's top spy finally noticed someone following him. I got suspicious after he kept stepping on my heels, he said. He was very sneaky because I lost track of him at noon every day. Human fly swatted by a mosquito. Chicago, Illinois. A local daredevil, known as the human fly for climbing skyscrapers with nothing but suction cups, was accidentally swatted off the Sears Tower by the wingtip of a World War II British mosquito bomber performing an airshow. He went down while desperately clutching his suction cups, a police spokesman said. Hopefully it gave him some comfort before he splattered like a water balloon. Dissatisfied leopard changes spots. San Diego, California. After 10 years of sleeping on the east side of his cage, Leo the leopard switched spots and now sleeps on the west side. His handler and personal guru never gave up hope. Anybody can change their behavior if they try really hard, he said. Superhero kid stops locomotive with his pinky finger. Newark, New Jersey. A little boy walking the railroad tracks noticed that vandals had removed one rail. He punched 911 on his cell phone with his pinky finger and reported it in time for the engineer to stop the train. Aw shucks, it was nothing, the superhero said. Trout fisherman pulled overboard after hooking a minnow. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A fishing fanatic whose boat caught fire was saved before he burned to a crisp. The charred fisherman told reporters, I had just baited my hook with a minnow, only moments before my buddy pulled me overboard to save my life. I learned my lesson, he said. I will never again bring my barbecue pit inside the boat. Local crackpot invents cutting-edge mousetrap. Burlington, Connecticut. Rube Gearhead received a patent today on his latest mousetrap. It's a miniature guillotine, the inventor said. It works by tying a female mouse to the trap. Gearhead explained that, sooner or later, a heroic male mouse in shining armor will come to rescue the damsel in distress, and then whammo, bammo, you get 2 mice with only 1 trap. Frightened residents see headless horseman in Sleepy Hollow. New York. Residents of Sleepy Hollow were frightened Saturday night when a member of the Headless Horseman's motorcycle gang did wheelies on Main Street. I was afraid one of these sweet boys would get hurt, an elderly resident said. Class clown fails 6th grade after drawing straight A's. Kansas City, Missouri. A student failed the 6th grade yesterday after drawing perfectly straight A's on the blackboard that is. His penmanship was excellent, his teacher said, but he spent his time clowning around on the blackboard instead of studying his lessons. Gold prospector finally hits jackpot. Carson City, Nevada. A prospector who has tried to find his fortune for 40 years hit jackpot while digging in an abandoned mine. Jack was a friend of mine who disappeared last year and that was his favorite cooking pot, the grinning prospector said. That dented pot ain't worth much, but I will keep it in remembrance of my old friend. Sideshow freak gets last tattoo. Salt Lake City, Utah, a heavily tattooed sideshow freak at the county fair named Tattoo Tom got his last tattoo inked in yesterday. Almost every square inch of his fat body was already covered in tattoos, but a new bald spot emerged at the back of his head. It reads, Last Tattoo. Teeny bopper surfs mudslide on laptop computer. Malibu, California. A local teenager was the first purchaser of a new video game for surfing addicts that allows players to surf mudslides. The teeny bopper commented, "It's totally awesome. I'm just saying. You know. Like. Whatever." Grandma wins bowling tournament with pumpkin. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. A 93-year-old grandmother won the state bowling championship yesterday. She credits the win to her good luck poodle, named Pumpkin, who was with her. I didn't want Pumpkin to lose respect for me, so I tried hard to win too, she said.